All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everyone? All right, in this video, I actually got a new monitor, so I'm not going to be jumping around, not going to be knowing what's on screen. I'm going to be sure that we are on the right camera angle. So let's also install the side cam, because obviously we're going to need this on cam for whenever we actually do need it. Let's get it installed. Turn it on. All right, we got the side cam getting installed. And let's get some music on. We got my son is not feeling so good, probably needs some food. So we're going to get some music going. So let's go get some house going for this. Nice. All right. All right. So what are we going to do today? We are going to do a few things today for Referral Guild. What is Referral Guild? Referral Guild is my iOS app that I've been building for quite some time now. The UI of it definitely needs some work, and we'll come back and do that. But for right now, we want to make sure we have the core functionality working. I have worked out quite a bit of the server here and a lot of the server functionality. So today, let's write down some to-dos for today. All right, so for today, all right, what are our goals for today? His music's a little, we gotta get something a little bit more bumping here. Let's go to some cyber funk wave. There we go. All right, let me get up a sheet here and we could go over what is on the docket for today. Okay, so what is on the docket for today? We're basically going to be doing two things here. We're going to first be build 614. Okay, so what are we going to be building today? So for first thing we need to do is we need to update the messaging display to have UI showing who is actually messaging. Truly messaging. We need to update the UI to also account for group messages. And then we could put this under messaging display. Messaging. And then we also need to then, after we do that, we need to work on a pretty core functionality of this application. So a core functionality of this application is going to be the referral market. So what is the referral market? The referral market is basically just going to be a place where you could see local companies in your area that are offering incentives for referrals. So if your company is offering, let's say they're offering 10% or 15% of their projects total for referrals, you're going to be able to see that, and then other things such as that. So start building out the company's configuration for the referral market feature. Have that then displayed on other users' screens so they can easily search and find new referrals. Search and find new referrals. We already have the functionality in, so we already have book referral functionality. Already exists. So book referral functionality already exists, which is good. We just don't have a way to kind of display everyone. We have very much just simple UI here. And again, in this video, we're just going to work on the functionality here. And then I think a stretch for today is we could also add functionality for referral favorites. So for example, if you have a favorite that you design, you say this company is your referral favorite, then when you're going to search for companies, you could easily come in and then you could update it there. So let's see if I'm gonna pop open my FigJam here and we could kind of go into looking at the functionality for this. But also, let's take a look at Fable 5. I wonder what other developers are saying about Fable 5, because we used it yesterday. It's expensive. It burns thousands of tokens, a lot more than Opus does. And even using it on low effort, which I was told to do, still seemed to burn quite a bit. It's like you need all this reasoning. It's like, what problems are you tackling that you need so much reasoning? You need so much power to be able to understand what's going on. That's really the question here. I think they kind of market it to people. So they market it to people saying like, oh, like it's so smart it can do anything. And then obviously you can't just go and ask it, okay, build me an application that's going to solve homelessness, or build me an application, or build me a trading bot that does X, Y, and Z and then makes everything solved correctly. I mean, that's not something it could solve yet. So for what exists now, especially for someone that already has the ability to write code and understand software, has been working in the industry for years, you already have pretty much with Opus all the functionality, all the reasoning that you would need. You don't really need anything even crazier, because you're going to lean on your experience to understand what's going on here. Take a look at here. Okay, I mean, and you see stuff like this over all the time, like, oh, I made X amount of money doing this. What in the heck is this even? Okay. Let's look at all those. Look at all those stonks go burr there. Yeah, this is exactly how I feel here. This tweet right here kind of sums up how I feel too. Is, I mean, did Claude actually know how to trade perfectly here, or was it just a great day to trade? Because a monkey on a great day for the market can make money, can make $847 in a day. I can make $847 a day trading on a good market day. So the reality is, a lot of the time, they just post their wins. And they don't post their losses. You know what? A wise man once said, I don't ask people to judge me on my wins, I just ask them to judge me on my losses. Because I have so few. And that's the mindset you want to have here today. All right, enough with this. Enough with all this. We are going to get back into coding here. Let's go ahead and get up some architecture here. So I have kind of a crude drawing of a lot of the functionality here. And I guess what I want to do now is we have the user, referral dashboard network, referral job, what it contains. Essentially, we want to be able to go over this referral dashboard network, but I don't really have anything that kind of goes into what that is. So let's go ahead and insert some shapes in here. So okay, so the user, this is the first thing they see right here, actually. Logs into app. So first thing they see is going to be the referral market here. Referral market. And what the referral market is kind of what we will be defining here. Let's pick a really good shape to go ahead into this. We could use, we'll just use squares. Okay, so referral market. What is the referral market? So the referral market. The referral market is where other companies, referral companies, is where other referral companies list what services they provide. They also list their referral kickbacks / bonuses offered. Okay, and then also what we need to do is go into some kind of sub things here, and this is based on geolocation. We want to have referrals based on users' location, and more importantly, their city. Okay. And then we could go ahead and create another one here. There we go. Okay. So that's what the referral market is. So and then this is a company user. So when the company user comes in, logs in, referral company configuration. So we have the referral company configuration here. This referral company configuration will contain a few things that is going to be needed. So config of the referral company, set service, price, location. This needs to look similar to an Airbnb. Okay. I think we have enough here to kind of just get started. So we get to the referral market, and what we're going to see is all this here. We're going to see referral market based on geolocation, and then this could be favorites folder. This is the folder that contains starred companies that you want to refer positions to in the first one, to in the future. Okay, perfect. So we see what we want to do with the referral market here. We're going to have to, because we could see what I have so far for the referral market. Am I even running the app? Let's pull up the sim. So there's a big boy. There we go. Let's run the server. We need something a little bit more upbeat. Let me change the music real quick. I think this might be the goated music for coding. Lo-fi house is very, very good. All right, so essentially when you come here to this dashboard, right now it just shows random placeholder stats I have. I had it initially where you would kind of come here and click on companies and then be able to see other companies here. And then you can kind of see my company here. But essentially, I'm going to probably move companies to the dashboard because when you come to this app, it's going to be similar to Airbnb. And let's pull up Airbnb to kind of see exactly what we want to see here. Let's go. Let's change this to mobile. So something not quite as robust as this, but I really like what I see here for different companies. When you click on looking at a referral company, we want to see something like this, where you could see reviews, you could see images of that company, their previous work they've done. You could see their pricing. You could see so many different things. You could see links to their website and everything there. So it's not going to look exactly like this, but including enough, you could treat these kind of like how Airbnb has these designed, because essentially what we want to do is all these referral companies are essentially wanting to position themselves in a way that not only are we going to be able to give you a kickback for sending a referral, we are also going to be able to perform the job well. Because one thing that is an issue here is sending someone a referral and the referral does bad. It kind of tarnishes relationships between you and that homeowner or whoever you're working with, whatever client you're working with into the future. So that's what we want to avoid. So on top of this, we eventually get into another thing that we will be doing here, which will be in the future, which will be reviews. This will entail reviews of the homeowner and the service provider. So we're not only going to just review who you refer, we're also going to review the clients as well. They're not going to be able to create accounts to do that, but doing this, you'll know, because another thing I know about this industry is when you get a referral, a lot of the time it's great because it's business, but you want what's called a hot referral. Okay, so we want hot referrals and want to use the reviews to back what a hot referral is. Okay, so a hot referral is essentially a referral that you send to someone that is ready to spend. They're ready to go. They want to do what they want to do. For example, let's say you're a decker and someone wants a deck, and someone's at the house, or it's a friend of theirs at their place talking to them, and they're like, listen, I just want to find someone. I need to build this deck. I need just someone confident. Who could you tell me that's confident that could build this deck? Well, guess what? This is what we want to pretty much have as a cornerstone of the app, is pretty much knowing when you get a referral, it's a hot referral. It's a referral that's ready to spend, ready to go. And from everything that they see on our app, everything that we could provide with reviews and things, you know that the company that is taking it on is already qualified. They're already ready to go. They've been reviewed. They've done jobs before. You could see their work within their profiles. That's what's going on there. So we have a lot of stuff in the future to go over with this whole review process here. But I think first, let's get back to messages here. And let's pull up analytics. What's up? I see I got some viewers here. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Hoping you guys get some caffeine in you. We're going to get some coding done. Well, let's get after it. All right. So with all this being said, let's get after what we want to do first, which is we want to go ahead and we want to update the messaging. So, all right, where is our messaging service? Chat view. All right, do we have the user coming in here? Chat's a chat view model. Okay.
It is difficult to be judged, to be reviewed as a teenager. I when I
Is
Cassie
user
Wilson, who later became a producer,
from the
I was in
chat
the middle of
view
doing
model
a video
currently?
for her, and she stopped me and she said, "Listen,
Model
you
currently.
are not good enough.
Okay, so first thing we want to do here, as we could see from the messaging,
Find something else that you want to do."
this is, again, this is a group message. So anyone who is an admin or a manager at a company is able to see this here. So what we want to do is we want to update this to be able to see exactly what is going on here, who said what, and have more verbose things here. So if only partially holds just current user ID. Yeah, that's what I thought. Current user ID. Okay. So chat view. All right, let's pull in user object to view to define the user who sent the message and have text below each message to be able to who sent the message. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to update this here and we're going to add the name. And I also want to have it. So let's pull up, when you click on someone's text, you could also pull up their profile as well. So when you click on some of these messages here, I also wanted to pull up some of their profiles, and you could see the profile could just look like this. So we'll have the same sheet popping up here to show off their profile. Then now that we check over here, we want to look for... So going off what I did yesterday, we basically... One of the big moves that we did yesterday is we turned our WebSocket messaging mapping endpoint here. We basically turned this into transactional here to make it all atomic. So essentially what we were doing earlier is we were broadcasting the message, then sending it to the database for saving. But obviously this is not going to work well, because what if you broadcast the message and then it doesn't save? Well, if the user goes to see the message in their notifications, the message might not be there. This is a bad place to fail here. So what I turned this into was making it more atomic and having the failure be, if for some reason the message does not save to the database, we fail there and give a retry for sending the message instead of having this notification repo run first, then building and then setting out that notification there. So this was probably one of the bigger changes that we made yesterday.
I can't answer the real
And that's definitely going to pay dividends down the line when we start getting some actual users and some concurrency within our application here. Other things that we could go over is entities. We updated entities, so each conversation now has a sender company ID as well as a company ID, and this is used so anyone who's a manager or admin can see the messaging for each company there. So let's get back to what we have here. So what we could do now is we look at the message response. Let's take a look at the message response entity. The message response struct, where are you being used? Message response. Pass through subject. So in the message response, let's take a look at what's being sent just from the controller so we can see it one more time again. And this is what's being sent right. It would be send to user. Where's send? It's convert and send to user right there. Gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and update this message response here. Where is that message response entity? It should be on our conversations controller, or it should be on our messages controller. Yeah. So we just have sender ID from the messages. And we added sender name. So should I send this sender name back in the messages, or should I have the sender ID query for the name? And then let's look at our DB here. Let's go to messages. So we have the sender ID already. And with that sender ID, we could pretty much easily just grab the sender information. But that's probably not what we want to do due to we just want to display the name. We don't want to do a full query here. Sender name. Yeah, that n+1, yep. So we don't want to do that. Let's just go ahead and do that right there. Perfect. Okay. String. Sender name. And then let's find the usage. Where are you being used? There we go. Okay. So we just need to add sender name to this. So we have the user details here, but the problem is we're gonna need to write a function because as we saw in my last live stream, a lot of users don't have a first name or last name yet. Why not Flutter? Because what I'm starting to realize is with how smart these models are, doing it natively is pretty darn simple. It's a lot easier than it's ever been. And honestly, I've actually had some experience working with Kotlin. So really it's the Swift application part that is the hard part. And so I really think once you have this up, to build a Kotlin counterpart is not going to be something that's going to be too heavy of a lift, because that's just where we are with programming now. That's just where we are with AI. It's very easy to migrate. We have done migrations and have leaned heavily on AI to migrate us from, for example, we had one we had to take React code and move it to React Native code. and it was pretty seamless to do that. So for me, we're going to build the iOS app first. And once we get to that point, obviously what you could do is you could get some money in, you could get a team in, and then worry about the Android version of this down the line. And two, the second reason why not Flutter is it's just so great working with native. I've built a few mobile apps with React Native. I haven't used Flutter in a while, so I can't really speak to it. I probably used it kind of just playing around years and years ago with the widgets. But with React Native, it's a pain to do the hybrid stuff. It really is. I hated it. So this is just a breath of fresh air. And honestly, when you're able to just get any question answered about a language, it makes it so easy to work with, how easy to work with the devices. And the reality is, you don't really get stuck anymore. You're able to get through it. Whereas back in the day, if I was to pick up Swift like I did now, where I didn't know anything, I could get stuck for a few days. I have not got stuck. And I'm not even getting to the complexity of being stuck here. So, moreover, we want to work natively because it gives us the most feature-rich environment to work with, and we're not worried about having to build another application to support the Android port of this. All right, so back to what I was saying here. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and take the user repo. So the user does not have an email. So what I want to do is abstract this out to a function. So we're going to go ahead and abstract this out to a function here. Private, and this will just return a string. Convert, get username, get user name, full name, or email, and it's going to take in a string which will be the it will take in a user object actually. So it's going to take in a user object. So first it's going to do is, for example, like my name Ryan, so for example my name, this is not what we want to return. We actually want to return it truncated. So this DTL, this message response is going to return it like this. And then it's like, oh, now what if there's another Ryan L? We'll deal with that later. We're just trying to get this functionality working here. So okay. So let's go ahead and call it and pass in the user object. So what we're doing here is we're getting all the messages in the conversation and then we're mapping them here. But what I need to pass in here is I need to also pass in the current user. So what we could do is, we could do use our function here with user. Where did I put it here? Let's just see where in user response I added to the record, where that is at the end. Yeah, it's at the end. Okay, so just add this function call to the end here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pass in the user there. And what we want to do first is we want to, if user dot get full name does not equal null. Does not equal null. return user.get full name and user.get full name dot is blank is false. Okay, so if that return the full name. So here now we need to return. So we don't return the full name like this. Remember what I said is we want to truncate it. So I need to truncate in Java like this. So what is it? So it'd be like Ryan. Oh, we could just take last name char at 1 or char at 0. Duh. Okay. Okay. And user.get last name. So get full name only is there if the first and the last name are there. So we're not going to have to worry about if it's there or not. So what we could do here now is string converted. Or we could just call a message name. Equal user dot last equals user dot first name plus user dot last name dot char at 0. Okay. That should be right. And then we need a space. Perfect. All right, and then here what we do is if it's not, we want to return user.get email. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and update the message responses here. Let's add these in. Nice. This doesn't even have the user. What's in the does the principal have it? Name. What was it? All right, let's just grab it from there. Well, we get it here as the sender, actually. So we could just do sender. It's just sender. All right, nice. All right, does this work? Let's see. All right, once this compiles, we could go ahead and we could use our new response here. Perfect, now we just need to see where sender name is actually being used. So let's see where it's actually being displayed. Yeah. Yeah, but I need to see where you are being used to see what the UI looks for here. Let's take a look. Message.content, message.created at. Okay, please add message dot the message dot sender name as well next to created at. So I also think that we might need to include, I was thinking we might need to include here in the messages like different colors. Help me, I want to learn React.js. Yeah, I'm taking a break from React.js. Swift is more enjoyable. Well, the lowest level stuff's been more enjoyable. Yes, Spring Boot project. Spring Boot just because it is great to work on. I've really enjoyed working on it. It's very verbose. And it's a good backend. And if we split out into microservices or want to use some AI, some natural language processing or whatever, we could either spin up Go or Python microservices to handle that. JetBrains already have a Cloud Code plugin. No, I'd prefer using the CLI. I don't really need it in the editor. Yeah, I mean, I really just like using it in the editor here. I mean, I probably should get Tmux going, but I'm going to be honest, like the multiple split screen here with Tmux it's just hard to understand what's going on. And at the end of the day, just this setup is kind of what I prefer to use. And I said this in my last stream, but I'll say it again now. Splitting it up like this, where you basically have two sessions for each that just know about either the client side, the app, or the server side, I feel that it's easier to maintain everything. And the number one thing about it is if all the context is in one agent, you're not going to know what's going on. Like through this, like when I make changes in the backend, it's like, all right, now I need to tell the client like what's changed, what's happened here. And yeah, that takes more time to do, but I understand what's going on. I understand what we just implemented. I'm able to go in and add that there. So here we go. We added the sender name here. This looks good. And then we updated our mock API tests here. And so once we updated this, we'll go ahead and we will get things going here. All right, once we update our test here, we'll go ahead and run it, and we will run it with our new changes that we did in Java here, and we'll go ahead and we will check out what's going on. All right, we're just building at this point. Let's go ahead and rerun. There's a tiny iPhone. Okay, what's changed? Yep, we updated it with sender name. Now it takes a full user and returns that. The message role now shows the sender label. So yeah, I think we need to have different colors as well, or something maybe, to distinguish it better. Because again, every manager and admin can respond to this message. Yeah. Now this is already done, and it's included in the stomp. In the message GTO, yeah, it's there. And the stomp topic conversation ID. Let's make sure I did that. Topic conversation right here. What's it saying I needed to do here? Piece in the back includes sender name and the message GTO for both REST history endpoint and the stem. Okay, so I have it currently now in when I pulled from the database for the messages, but I don't have it in the WebSocket. I don't think I put it in there. So let's just go ahead and convert to send. I need to add to message controller the sender name. And here, what's the best? Where do I add that? So the sender name. The sender name from the sender name to the message stomp frame. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and send sender name here. Thanks to Xcode, I switched to Golang and C++. Very nice. Golang is fun. I enjoyed working with Golang, and I definitely will use it in the future for several different things. But man, C++ has been fun. I've really enjoyed just keep learning. I literally learn a new thing about C++, I feel like, every day. And just kind of dive deeper into understanding what's going on. And then just coming up to using Java, it just makes everything so easy to understand. It really does. You know, starting lower than coming up is what life is all about. But too many people, and I feel more and more of, you know, Gen Zers probably graduating right now, they're stuck in Next.js and don't want to go deeper. And I saw it, you know, when I was doing interviews, you know, what I'd actually see is people that are just vibe coders that were trying to pass as coders, which is pretty laughable. When I'm like, okay, here's a function here, here's an array, sum up everything in the array and return what the sum of the array is of all ints. And they go, oh, I can't do that without AI. I mean, we've gotten to a point where people that can't even do the most basic of coding task think they could be software engineers, which is pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and look at what we add here. So the stomp frame on line 1 only passes the sender name via. Oh, okay, it's coming from here. No, but I need it in the actual message controller. Let's go ahead and. The stomp line is the only passes. Yeah, I know, but that's not what I want to. Right here in the actual sending of the WebSocket message is where I want to send it. For message controller line 227, am I including in the stomp frame the am I including in the stomp frame the sender name? Yeah. Message response. Oh, the response is the message response. Oh. Yep. Okay. It's right there. It's being built in right there and being sent. Perfect. All right, we're all set here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the messages. For now, there's only 2 people in this chat. Let's take a look at this. So for now, there's only 2 people in this chat here. And let's rebuild the Pro. Let's rebuild the Pro. And these are both, we'll sign out of here and we will log in as another company. Did I over-engineer this OAuth here? Probably. Probably you could just use the biometrics for login here. But God, it's just so easy to do this compared to React Native. There's no like native, there's no, you know, certified libraries used with Google OAuth in React Native, so you have to kind of hack it together. With Swift, it was so easy to just grab the library that you're supposed to use and implement it. I mean, unbelievably easy. All right. It looks pretty good. Let's update the database. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna add to this user here. I'm gonna add to this user here. I'm going to add to user 15 a first name, last name, and a full name in our database so we could then test that out. Update now. It would be, yeah. Update users. Set. Set first name equals where users.id equals, what was it? 15. Is this how you do it in SQL? I literally, for some reason, I'm blanking on how to do this. Yeah. The brain rot is already here. It's from using Mongo too much, document databases. Yep. It's commas. All right, now that we have that, let's go back and let's send some messages. So I just have to send a message here. Hey. Very nice. Okay, this is very nice. I don't really want to do much more here. Obviously, we could come in here and update a lot of what's going on here. The only other thing I wanted to do was potentially have... The only thing I also wanted to do was potentially have... we could strike through this, actually. Can we strike through this? Come on. We could just put an X here, I guess. Whatever. We need to update the UI to also account for group messages. And that was me thinking of, do we need more to display here? I don't know. I think for now, this could be kind of put as a backlog to come in here and maybe have some color coding, maybe show like the user profile image here in like a small circle, something like that. But I think just for very basics, like this is fine. We could go ahead and we could complete it and then put this in backlog. Okay. Now what are we going to move on to now? We're going to move on to the referral market. And the first thing of the referral market that we are going to look at is the config of the referral company. Yes, so we're going to first have this whole config here so a user can upload photos, create their profile and everything. So that will be pretty much what we'll be spending the rest of the time on, is having the manager or admin of a company being able to come in and update their company to create this listing that's similar to Airbnb. Let's take a look here. I think devs should start with low-level stuff like MCUs and embedded. Yeah, I mean, that would be great if that, if more people thought like that. But I really think the issue was there was so much money in abstraction. You know, oh, I built this abstraction. Oh, I built this abstraction. That, and you know, it is difficult to learn more low level. It really is. you have to think a lot about memory. You have to think a lot about things that you just don't even consider when working with more high level languages. So I think all the abstractions, and now we're at, V0 and Lovable, which is just abstracted all the way to heck. I think that it's the money that drove more and more people to just use the higher abstractions here for building. So yeah, I do think, handmade boards with STM32s. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Was that Kernel Panic? That's awesome, man. Yeah. No, I mean, getting into just using hardware and understanding how things work with the transistors and then tying all that together. I mean, in a perfect world, yes, but I just think the money in the abstractions, like people just started realizing, like, oh, this is hard to learn. Not many people are going to be motivated to want to learn how to do this. How can we make this easier? How can we abstract it? How can we make it read more like English? Then now it's like, how can we just do this for you, where you just tell us what you want and we build it for you? And then probably next, on top of that, is you literally, on top of just saying like, oh, I want to build this, and it builds this, in the future, it's going to know what you want to build just because of all the data it has. I mean, these LMs that you use every day have an absurd context on you. So in the future, they're just going to wake you up, when you wake up in the morning and look at your phone or whatever device, maybe we have chips in our brain at that point. It's going to say, hey, I built this app that's going to, you're going to have, AI is going to be forward deployed engineers with all the context they have, and they're going to build solutions to solve your life. I mean, that's probably where we are heading next on the level of abstraction. Okay, so let's get into setting up this whole config here. All right, let's get into setting up this config. Before we do anything, let's commit. Add messaging name to the chat UI. Push origin. All right, and then let's save this as well. Hit commit. Update sender name. Update message response. List sender name. Origin master. Okay. Now let's get on to when I come in here as an admin. I think it all should just be on my company. All right, so let's get into plan mode here. Okay, let's go ahead and use dictation real quick. I want to have, if you are an admin or a manager of a company, the ability in the My Company tab to be able to start creating your listing here. Now, the listing is what other users are going to see when they're looking at their dashboard. Now, the listing is going to be containing photos, information about their services, reviews, links to their websites, and then it's also going to contain, most importantly, their referral kickbacks or the referral bonuses for referrals sent into this company. So let's go in and plan on how we would structure this on the UI, as well as creating the additional fields in our database and with our API to be able to handle these new updates and handle all these photos coming in here. Let's use the existing S3 service that we currently have, but should also answer the question for me, should I create a public bucket in S3 instead of using the pre-signed URLs for this data here being used? All right, so yeah, we have we're using pre-signed URLs for this image here, but it's slow. I don't think we need it. It's not anything that is it's not anything that's something that the public doesn't need to see. So I think we need to create a public bucket in S3. So let me go ahead and log in to Amazon real quick as well. So let's log into AWS. Sign into console. No, hold on. Sign in. Get the two-factor, of course. We're gonna have to change up these beats. These beats are getting a little slow. I think I need a little bit more uplifting right now. All right. All right. All right, while we cook tokens like crazy here. 40, we got 50,000 tokens here. We could take a look at our AWS structure here. Okay, so right now I just have this images folder in this general purpose bucket. I think we should create... Now, is that the bucket level? Is that where it is? I'm wondering if I should just create another bucket and leave this. So I'm wondering if I should just leave this as a private bucket for maybe private images. But I honestly don't know, like, how many private... Like, when will private images or, like, things even need to be said? I guess... Like trying to plan to the future here, I guess we could use a private bucket with pre-signed URLs, which I already have the functionality for example, let's say a company took a referral and they are in the process of completing everything there and they want to maybe upload like an invoice or something that would be personal, something that wouldn't be public. So, I mean, I think we're going to keep this here and we're going to create a new bucket and we'll call it referral bucket public. Bucket public. And then we'll leave it open. A list of bonus entries, description plus amount with type. Yeah. What do reviews mean for listings? In-app review. It's actually going to be both. Should the plan cover both Spring Boot backend and mobile app? Yep. All right. Let's keep planning here. And we'll wait to see. I think we could just use this here. And then let's go ahead and grab. Let's look at our S3 access code here. And we'll see it in the company's view. Let's change up the beats though. We need something here. Mindful Sparks, what's up, man? Let's get some good stuff going on. Here we go. This is what more I needed here. Some jazz house. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so we have our fetch sign URL logic here. Um, all right, before we wait on that plan, let's go ahead and ask some questions. For the S3, have two S3 buckets, one public, one private. For uploading public, two public. Public is this okay to use. All right, while we wait for these agents to cook here. Here we go. Okay. Prefixes and policies but 2 buckets is a cleaner, safer. Yeah. Okay, so we could have one with public-private separation with IAM policies. Yeah. No. Okay. Okay, let's configure that. Public bucket. All right, we're going to use 2 buckets here. We're not going to block with an IAM policy. Well, let's look at the plan. All right, let's take a look at the plan here. Okay, and let's look at it in Markdown, actually. All right. Should be able to build their company public listing for my company to have the listing as what the user sees and browser companies as the dashboard and its photo gallery, services, offers, reviews, external. Yep, so we're going to be using a flat rate or a percentage rate of the current invoices total, but we're going to change this as the app evolves. You know, originally we thought we would just have a flat rate fee, but we probably should just put in the percentage fee as well, as that won't be too hard to do. And then, yeah, down the line we'll also need to integrate with Stripe to handle this. And we also need to integrate with Stripe Connect for kind of the market to market here, as well as we would be sending money from one user to another. All right. Yep. Yeah. The cache already migrates. So do I need to throw a cache in front of the... See, this is what I want to know. For the plan, no. For the plan, the URL wants... No. So it's trying to kick off AWS CLI things already? It is. Okay, for the private bucket, the plan was to keep it should I throw CDN in front of it? Alright, I probably just need to throw a CDN in front of it. I mean, I think there's no point. We don't want to do that. No. I'm going to be storing public photos of the company. All right, so we're gonna create migrations. So we're gonna have company service. We're gonna push back on this real quick, but we can go ahead and create the tables to link to each referral to each company, and each company will have different things defined here. Nice. All right, we could go ahead and start creating these endpoints real quick, but first let's take a look here and just make sure. Let's chat here. The plan, why private bucket, the private bucket, slow without a cache. Cache. Shall I just get CloudFront front of the bucket? Private bucket now. Okay, so let's just figure out this infra thing here. Should we just get yes? Okay. Okay. Help me at the CloudFront. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add CloudFront here. We can go ahead and nuke this. All right, delete it. We'll just use the referral guild. All right, we're gonna choose the referral bucket here, and yep, perfect. Yep. And then let's go ahead and create the distribution here. Okay. Now that I have the distribution, I have the CloudFront distribution. Distribution created. Where does my mobile app app need to call now. So probably the URL is going to change to the distribution name. Let's go ahead and change that. And then once we get this, we're going to pull up the plan and we're going to start creating those tables for the configuration of that company. And let's get some more vibes in here. Come on now. We're gonna grab a freaking jam to get some vibes in here. This is probably, let's go, where is it? Here we go. Happy House mix. Perfect. There we go. Now we're vibing. Yep. Here's the... Yeah. Oh, that's where. Download URL. All right, let's go to S3 controller, download URL. S3 service. Get download URL. So we need to change the bucket value here to the new CDN. Let's do that. Change the S3 service bucket name. Now use this cloud front CDN distribution. Okay, let's go ahead and change this here. So we're gonna go ahead and change this here. We're gonna change this to have CloudFront in front of everything here. If I change this again, I'll use bucket name for CloudFront. Domain is the values used to present both uploads and downloads. Percent upload. Yeah. Side CloudFront URLs. CloudFront URLs. All right, so we're gonna pull in the CloudFront package here. And we are going to keep going here. We're gonna keep cooking. We're gonna update our applications property file here. Gotta be careful I'm not leaking anything, but I think we're pretty good here with the application property secrets and whatnot. Yep. Explain it. All right, so we're going to import the CloudFront package. We're going to then just use CloudFront side URLs here. Let's read real quick just to make sure this is correct. Got everything stuff CloudFront. What other contacts? Yep, so it's just the same sign URLs you use for the private buckets. This is what I wanted to see. Yep. Can policy, just expiration time, so list for URLs is equivalent to what you're doing now. Yep. Okay. Okay, perfect. This looks good. And then we'll audit the S3 service real quick before we do the full switch over to hitting the CloudFront. And now doing this with the CDN in front of our private bucket, we should be able to be seeing these images a lot quicker. Let's not generate everything here. All right, we're good. Smart enough to know not to show any secrets here. Yep. So it returns a CloudFront URL, which is inside the CDN, which is perfect. Set AWS CloudFront key pair ID to the PEP. Set AWS CloudFront. Okay, so I need to update this to the key pair ID. Okay, how do I get the key pair? The key pair ID. Trusted key group, trusted key pair. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's pull up CloudFront key management. CloudFront. Okay. Set up CloudFront key management for pre-signed URLs. New URLs. How do I do that? So we just need to add. We probably need to generate an RS key locally, put it in the project, and then go ahead and then have the public and private encryption here from things here to there. Yep. So let's generate the key pair. All right. Can you generate it for me? The KP for me. All right, so first let's create the key pair. Let's see if you could do it for me. If not, I'll have to grab the OpenSSL keygen command to do it. Okay, now that we have our private key, I just need to register the public key and then grab the public key from the private bucket here. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. CloudFront keys, key groups, key management. Here it is, public keys. Create public key. Oh, guild. And then I paste this in here. It was CloudFront console key. Okay, let's go grab it. Let's go grab it. And let's go ahead and take the public key and drag it over here. It's a PEM file. How do you open the... How do you copy the PEM file over there? You can't upload here. To upload public key PEM file. I probably could just open it. Let me just get it. Song's banging right now. All right, let's get the public key. There it is. Okay, just had to open it up in my editor. There we go. Create public key. All right, so we created the public key. Oh, it contains illegal characters, huh? The parameter public key contains... Wait, my public key contains... Oh, probably stupid. Because this is what's wrong. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we went ahead and we created it. So now that we did that, create key group. Create a key group. So create a key group, key management, key groups, create key groups, add the public key from step 2. Okay. Create key group. Pro guild key group. And then let's add the key right here. Create key group. Okay. Say the key groups are the modern replacement for the old trusted signers via root account approach. Use this, not trusted signer. Attach the key group to distributions behavior. All right, let's go to the distributions behavior. Let's create a behavior. Restrict path pattern. Restrict viewer access. Yes. Trusted key groups. Add key groups. Boom. There it is. Okay. Nice. There we go. Create behavior. Oh, path pattern. What should path pattern be? Now that path pattern. It can't be empty. And then what is path pattern? Is this what URLs, not the show? So I want all of them. 0 more characters. So is it just star star? Just star for it. So this is just for knowing what to kick out and request a pre-signed URL for. This size of request maybe applies to 2 cases. If you're creating a separate behaviors, no, use star actually government labels a default star and it won't let you edit it. This makes a signing requirement. Yep. Path pattern. It's everything. Everything in the images should have it. Path pattern should be everything. Pattern should be everything in my origin group bucket. Dude, don't live stream this stuff on AWS. You're trying to get hacked. I mean, I just rotate these after they're done. Nothing's really gonna happen. We're not really leaking anything here. Dude, your name has a space. That should be fine. All right, back to it. Yep, that should be good. This needs to be default. It's everything in there. Yeah, okay. It's star. All right, nice. All right, I mean, we're just gonna rotate this. I mean, we're just kind of setting this up, and then after the stream, I'll just change it. I mean, we're not gonna really put anything that could be harmful here for us to use. Our public bucket is not in use, and you need to use pre-signed URLs to even use this in the first place, which we have not exposed anything that would give someone access to being able to use this. So we are good here for the most part. Now we just have to wait for this to deploy. I mean, the key to streaming with AWS and things like this is obviously just rotate things, rotate permissions and things like this, or just delete what you created and create it again. And again, we're so early in the project that it's not going to really fully matter as much, so I'm not too worried. But yes, I do agree. Like if you're working on something critical in AWS with a full running application, then yeah, you could definitely leak things. You could show security vulnerabilities. You could show policies that you're not protecting for. And there's so many different things that can happen with that setup. So yeah, I do agree. But appreciate you, Ducky Dev, for speaking up here. All right, let's keep going. All right. All set. So we're all set here. All set. The AWS. Backend signing. Let's go get it. Yeah, okay. Let's go into our application properties. Let's pull this off screen, actually. All right. Let's pull this off screen while we do some edits here. Side cam, come on now. All right, we're going to pull this off screen while we do some edits here. Got the side cam working. That's great. All right, let's do some edits here. Was anything just leaked in what I just showed? No, not at all. I'm looking at everything here. But yeah, if I came down a little bit more, we would be seeing some stuff that would be questionable here. So let's go ahead and update our configs here with what we need. Okay. Okay, we're set. The distribution side, let's add the keys to the server. All right, so we just need to add these keys to the server here. Obviously, we're gonna make sure that... Dude, your name has a space. I don't know what the fuck that means. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait here just a second. All right, we're going to hit these secrets later because what I'm gonna have to do is add them there, and we moreover just want to be... So I basically need to get the public key from Cloudflare and have our application know about that as well. But we could do that later. Let's go ahead and run. And let's get to where we need to go. All right, let's get back to going. Let's get back to coding. We could go ahead and stash what we just did. All right, so we're gonna stash that backend change just since I want to be more careful about doing that. Ducky Dev, you're absolutely right. We're just gonna be more careful about that, and we'll just continue with the coding, and I'll do the actual CloudFront. Excuse me, with the assigned URLs after. All right. So since that change was really only back end, just stashing what I did there is the proper fix. All right, let's go back to our plan and let's implement our plan. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Where is... Give me... Where... Folder of the plan. Alright, let's go back to our plan and let's go ahead and let's run through it. What is the name of this file? I want to have sorted hickey.md. The hell? Don't worry, I got it. All right. Let's go ahead and let's give one table length back end of this plan. And then let's add it back here. To the plan, call it referral dashboard company, referral company configuration. Okay, so we got the plan right here, and then let's go step by step. Step here. Let's start creating the migrations. Migrations first one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start creating those migrations. Let's go ahead and check those migrations, make sure everything's good here, and we could add any fields we need to here. So company services, this is the company services that each referral company will have and will be supplying here. So yeah, but we kind of need like a bulleted company services. So maybe it's company. I don't know if this is the right structure here. I don't know if this is the right structure here. Because referral company has description in it. So for company services, I think I need to change what that migration looks like. But let's get the migrations in and we could go ahead and then change what that looks like. Let's add these two here. Change kickbacks to referral bonuses. Bonus. Referral fees. All right, so we have the referral companies here. Guys, is it because my entity's called company? Oh, okay. So add these there, that's good. But for services, I think this needs to change because I think it needs to be... Well, no, it could just be, we could have many company services per company. Referral companies. Yeah, so we could have many company services. But this is what I need to chat about here. So we could have many company services per referral company, but each company... probably should be a short, but each company should... Each company should have their referral fee, and I have to think, should the referral fee be more granular where you could put referral fees on? So if, like, if example, if you're a painting company and you want to set a referral fee for some conditions, you know, not just a referral in general, I'm wondering if it needs to be a tiered referral. We could come back to tiered referrals. For example, like, oh, if like we do over 10 grand of work, you get X amount. If we do more, you get this amount. Something like that, I think, is probably needed, but I think that's backlog stuff and stuff we could come back to. For right now, we could just do one fee here. But the sort order... company kickbacks. Well, I guess what we could do is list multiple company kickbacks. I think that's kind of what was going on with the plan. Is we had multiple. Let's open up VS Code and take a look. So we had. Is this the correct structure? I don't know. Let's take a look. So, one-to-many, company-to-company kickbacks. Should we just rely on this sort order here to show many different ones? Or should we have company kickbacks linked to a company service as well? This is fine for now. We could come back to this later. Okay, sounds good. Let's go ahead and update this. Let's take a look here. Okay, everything looks good here. Let's go ahead and run the migration. Okay. Now let's take a look at what's next in the plan. Okay, let's update. Let's update the okay, let's proceed to the creation of the new entities, enums, and repos here. All right. So let's start creating the entity enums and repos here, and then creating the DTOs as well. So we're going to take it in a stepped approach. I definitely could just have it run through this and start creating, but I feel this, when you're running through development here, this is the best way to do it. Just do it a step at a time. And then you could just see right here, and it's super easy to know if something's wrong. So again, it was flat and percent fee type. Add that to the enums. We'll come back to this later. Right now we're just going to be using... Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, so once we have this here, we could start creating the new My Company portion here. And that new My Company portion is going to... That new My Company portion will have what we need here. And I probably need to rebuild that. Okay. So we're going to definitely change this up here. We're going to make this look better. And we're going to make it easy for someone to create the listing. And then when you're looking at listings here, let's rebuild this. Let's sign in with the other user. All right, got some comments. What's up? What's up, Sumed? And then Spectre was taken, or Skeptor was taken. What tool are you using? We're using Fable 5 here. So as you can see, this is kind of the feed here. I mean, boom, you're going to see this big feed here, which will then take over dashboard. That's the important part here. And yeah, we need to get into some designing of showing things here, the referral fees and different things such as that. All right, let's look at stepping through everything here. All right, let's go ahead and create these things. All right, let's create the yes. Let's create the DTOs now. And let's quickly glance at these, make sure they're all right. Yep. We're about some video game bangers now. Woo, here we go. That's pretty good. I might even return more data here. See, like, let's just leave it at name and description for now instead of adding new fields. Okay. What am I building? I am working on an iOS app. It is going to basically make it easy for you to send referrals to people for different types of work. So you could advertise how much a referral fee you want. You could build relationships with other referrals. And it's really to promote that hot referral, the hot referral being the type of referral where the client or the user, the homeowner, whoever is ready to sign. They just need to make sure that they're finding someone who is competent and who is able to do the job. So really, this is a way to incentivize people to do more referral business, because most companies that we've talked to, referrals are most of their business. I mean, heck, at Protocoding, almost all of our business was referrals. Maybe one project was not referrals. So the referral business is such a big part of almost any company. So spending a lot of time to be able to work through that is a must. Building an orchestrate by using free tools, I could say I'm about 20% done. I could orchestrate. It could orchestrate, I guess. Very cool. When do you think you'll be done with that? If you say you're about 20% done, and I also want to know how much time you're spending building that. Because for me with this, you know, I came in hot and then you start to slow down. But for me, that's kind of not what I did there. Yeah, I mean, take a look at Postgres. I mean, everyone reaches for the super specialized tools to do different things. It's almost not needed a lot of the time, because the free tools pretty much solve, you know, 90 to 95% of what is actually needed. You've been working for a week. Where are you working at? Are you working? Are you currently working as a job? Or are you consulting in tech, or what is your current position? I'd love to know. You can be as high level as you want. I don't want to out you in any way, but I'd love to know what you're currently doing. Is this kind of a side project, or is this what you're mainly focused on right now building? Do you have your own company? Let me know. All right, so we have our DTOs here. Yep, now we need to create the controller. Let's create it. And we'll step through the creation of the controller, and we'll look through all the DTOs. My company photo DTO, when the hell is this even going to be used? Like, this is not, I don't even think this is going to be used anywhere, honestly. I think this is just slop. Company listing DTO, returns company photo DTO, which returns, okay, I see where it's used now. So it's going to be used in our marketplace dashboard. Okay, that's cool there. Now see, look, we're trying to find top 5 company ID by order by created at descending. We're going to talk about that. Controller endpoint is trying to create right there. Is that part of the plan? Why would we create that? Maybe it's just trying to show, you know, when you come to the dashboard, trying to show just a few to start. But I don't know why it's doing that. Let's take a look to see the reasoning behind why it's trying to create that. God, where is that plan? Okay. Okay. Let's see why it graded that. We might need to remove that. Let's see. So we're creating our controller endpoints here and giving patchable responses for getting these this company data here for the dashboard. And we go right into a company listing controller. We're gonna have to audit a lot of this. I think it has the right plan here, but I think we're gonna have to remove some of these because I don't think they're needed. Okay. I was trying to see if I could create a full-fledged app using free tools that could par with apps that are made with paid tools. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can. You just gotta spend the time configuring that. Why Java for iOS? It's just a server. It's just so reliable. I mean, if you look at I think I was inspired by seeing Netflix talk about how pretty much everything they do is Java and how well and reliable it is, especially for concurrency, especially for scaling. And I don't know, I just have been spending a lot of time with it lately. So that's kind of why I chose using Java here as a server. So how do you manage? So for me, how do you orchestrate 10 plus agents effectively? That's, you know, what I've seen that always hurts me when I try to do that. It's like some fail, I'm not doing it. And then also loop engineering there. Are you going to be including, I guess, your orchestrator understanding loops to be able to run different flows on how to create things, review things, make sure the CI/CD passes, make sure things are ready to be pushed to production, running tests, creating tests. Let me know. All right, let's keep diving in here. All right, what is this? That's fine. All right, let's go to the company listings controller and take a look at what was added. Okay. Get reviews. That's good. So we have our review endpoints in. All right, we need to pull up the service to see what's actually being called here. Large aggregate to return the company listing DTO, which we like, and we're pulling from all the right repos here. Very nice. We could use this down the line. The submit review is really not going to be used anytime soon. With this, add photo, delete photo, create service, update service. Nice. Now we need to see, where is what I wanted to see? I think it was in the repo. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's what I expected to see. This one right here. When are we using this? So it just decided to take the top 5 reviews to show in the company listing, and then we load more. Honestly, let's take top 3. And then let's go ahead and let's update this to change the language here to just take top 3. Boom. Okay, that's good. Reduce that amount of reviews that get put in there. Wire these into the existing referral company service that updates so they resist. Okay, where is the referral company listing endpoint? listing endpoint update. All right, let's run the migration soon. Let's just look at the controller real quick. Make sure delete mapping, put mapping, fee ID, referral fees, delete mapping, put mapping, services, service ID, photos, reviews. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Multiple endpoints here. Let's grab this controller. Let's bring it over here, and here is the controller for the endpoints for the company listing. Let's start changing my company to be able to have fields user can modify to then update these fields. These fields, let me know what else is needed to be able to configure this properly. All right, so it's going to take a look at our endpoints here. It's going to know what we need to configure here in our My Company. Look at that double. Nice. What's good, Andrew? Not much, man. Same old, man. Just coming here, building, actually. We're trying to build a mobile app here. We're doing pretty good. Just need to set up a lot of the back end first. And we actually made a lot of progress, especially with today and yesterday. We have pretty much completed a good rough initial draft of our messaging system here, but now we need to create the listing system where we could see listed companies and also configure these companies as well. And no, I didn't end up selling. Is it really selling for 20K? That's absurd. Does a used one sell for 20K, I wonder? I'm not sure. No, I'm not going to sell it. Better yet, when they release the M5 Studios, I'm probably going to take out probably a reverse mortgage or a second mortgage on my house and just buy as many as I can and then resell them in a few months once the RAM craziness, the RAM hype is out of control. But no, I like it because I like running the models locally. And it kind of future-proofs me in this industry. Once the tokens are gone, you know, I want to be able to effectively load a 70 billion parameter model into memory for coding. And honestly, that's all I really need. That's all I really need. You know, yes, I'll have to do a little bit more cognitive work myself. I'll have to use my brain, my actual local LLM up here, but it keeps me safe. So I don't know if I'll sell it. Oh, where do the links live? The links live. The links live here in our add listing links. And we could just send this here. Here's the migration script. Here, check out migration script. So they live in the referral company. Where should I build first on mobile? Links via existing edit form? Yeah. Let's do both together. All right. Let's start changing this page. Let's make this be able to update quite a bit here. Let's get after it. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think they pretty much... I mean, I don't even think you could get over 96 gigabytes of RAM now in a Mac Studio. I think they're basically just taking everything and putting it into the M5. But M5 release is going to be insane. Insane. You don't need a ton. I mean, you just really need to be able to effectively work with the 70 billion parameter model. What I see a lot of people do is they run so many different, they run multiple models. They have so many different things going on, and they just destroy their machines. Like a good Every Man in Ireland, good friend of mine, he has his $10,000 machine, and the results are striking with how well it works to do things. But for example, when you want to do image generation, video generation, things like this, I think a lot of people think that like, oh, if you have a strong enough machine, you could do that. And the reality is that's not true. These larger cloud companies are just an absurd amount of compute that they are using. So you need to be realistic. When you buy a good machine, it's going to help you with some things. It's not going to fully replace cloud anytime soon. But do you even need cloud for a lot of this stuff? No. Speaking of videos, what was that chat service that had that big decline, the Chat GBT videos, where they're basically having like social media of just AI videos and signed a contract with Disney, and then they just said, oh, wait, no, we're losing billions of dollars because generating these videos for free is insanely compute heavy. Yeah, who would have thought that? And then basically the whole thing went under. Probably have to go and check out the DTOs here, make sure they line up well. Yep. So my Google Drive connected. We won't do that. So basically, we just switch and show fields here. We'll go ahead and pull this up, my company view. Now, honestly, I wonder if I should have kind of like an onboarding screen. So when you log in for the first time, you're taken here to go through this kind of as like a step form. The minimum amount of RAM for 70 billion. Well, with the 512, it runs very well. I don't know. It's probably like 96. It's probably like 96 gigabytes of RAM. You could run a 7 billion parameter model, or maybe more. And if you want to run it buttery smooth and fast, yeah, you want to have a lot of unified RAM. Or VRAM, excuse me. Yeah, to future-proof yourself, just make an investment. You don't need to buy a $10,000 machine like I did. That was, I probably could have got away with getting half of what I got. and still have been in a very good spot. Make sure you could just have something locally that runs well. Have a machine that could do that. Have it, don't rely on anything in the cloud. Don't rely on cloud compute. Don't rely on renting everything. Get you something, and it will be very helpful as we move into the future of AI. I really, really do believe that. I mean, there's a reason why on top of just releasing the M5, all these companies are just stockpiling these all this RAM in storage, essentially, just to keep it away from others. So they don't want you to have this. A lot of companies don't want you to have this RAM. They want it, and then they want to sell it back to you. And then they want to sell it back to you for an exorbitant amount. So yeah, I would recommend that any developer out there make sure they have at least some capable computer. And again, the specs don't need to be crazy. You don't need to get a $10,000 machine, but just have something that could load. I mean, even these Gemma models now are so good. Like even running like a 14 billion parameter Gemma model. I mean, what am I using here? Let's see. Gemma 4. God, I forgot how many parameters this was. I think this is like a 14 billion parameter model here. It works pretty darn well, honestly. And it really, really makes you feel good about the future, no matter what things go, because costs will skyrocket. It's not a will they, it's a when will they. And so just be ready yourself. I'll have to probably look at these requests here. The company listing DTO. Let's go ahead and give this context to the company listing DTO. The company referral fee DTO, a couple referral fee requests. And people might say, just give it context to this. You don't need to copy and paste this. Yeah, but this, just gives you that extra sense of looking at what you actually just build, especially with this factory method. Here, is this the factory method you want to use to go ahead and generate this DTO? So it just gives you, again, that just tiny bit of, which one did it want? Company referral fee request. It keeps your brain from getting smooth. That's the best way to explain why I do this. Dang, we've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is a personal best right here. We'll probably do a little bit more, and then I'll probably, once we get a pretty good look at this config here, that's probably a good stopping point for us. And then what I'm going to do is probably get that private, that CDN up with the CloudFront with the pre-signed URLs. Yes, I'm nuking the one I just created, so I don't even know what you would do with it because you don't have the keys to be able to even connect to it. You wouldn't be able to do anything with it. You don't have my private key, so you wouldn't be able to do anything. But yeah, out of abundance of caution, it'll be nuked and we'll build another one. Let's take a look at the... See, this is interesting. You have to mark these as encodable, decodable, and hashable if they could be both encodable or decodable. Yeah, Swift isn't as crazy to learn as I thought. I guess, one thing I don't really understand about Swift, and we will take a look at this right now. Why not? I don't understand this weak... where is it? Not here. This weak self. I understand what guard's doing is we're just guarding to see if self is even there and we subscribe, but what is weak self doing there? Let's take a look and try to understand what that is doing. But let's also click through here, take a look at the methods that we're calling here. Yep. Looks good. All right, let's figure out what weak self is even doing. Weak self here. Is this like a weak a shared pointer here where you are not worried about the circular references here of the pointers? Give yourselves a weak reference. Yeah, instead of a strong one. Object holds a closure. Yeah. Okay, so essentially what it's saying is if you basically are not allowing the object to be garbage collected because it's within a closure, that object will never be deleted and it will last over time. And if it's growing over time, then you could have a very serious memory leak going on. Weak breaks this cycle by not incrementing the reference count. So yeah, it's kind of the same as the shared pointer. So whoa, C++ now helping me out trying to understand Swift here. I'm telling you, low level, come back up. You'll understand a lot more of what's going on. And it's used there. Gotcha. So since we are storing self here, we're storing this whole self-service class, stomp service class here. It's not going to be queued up for collection due to if it wasn't a weak reference here on this action item here. Interesting. And yeah, and this is what sets up our notification queue here. Okay, interesting. Yes, please do. All right, and let's confirm it. So as we generate these API calls here, and then our test as well, yeah, so we're gonna sub to it. So it's on this here, pending subscriptions. What is pending subscription? Yeah. Slop. Alright, when is... Explain petting here. I'll check this out in my company view. Here we go. All right, y'all, we gotta let you go. I gotta eat. We've been going for just about 2.5 hours now. I will see y'all tomorrow, and we will keep going.